Tony Lee reporting live. Peace and blessings to all my people. Hello, world. So I tapped in a couple days ago, let people know that I was getting started. This is my first interview that I'm going to do. It's very special to me. It's a special interview, and I know it's needed, definitely. So tap into me. My YouTube channel is Tony Lee 267, and y'all on my IG, y'all know what it is. So I want to get right into it. Basically, I want to introduce my guest, Brother Marquand Washington, and I want you to introduce yourself, tell them who you are.
I am Marquand Washington, 25-year-old CEO of Blue Horizon Logistics.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I want you to tell the people about yourself just a little bit. Tell the people about yourself just a little bit.
I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised. Grew up in South Philadelphia. Kind of, mixed and mingled in the street life. And recently just got my CDL earlier this year. And I am now in the process of running my own company.
So what I want you to tell me first, I want you to discuss briefly some of your previous life experiences that made you to make the decision, decide to change your life around and do CDL.
Um, well, like any other young teenager, I was in the streets, peer pressure and whatnot. Um, I think the most memorable moment that made me want to switch my life around and get my CDL was I was in a car accident where my car rolled over 3 times and I could have died. And it made me
How long ago
realize
was that?
that was actually last year in July. So that made me realize, it's a lot more to life.
And what are some of the things in life that got you to learn and grow to who you become from who you were in the past?
Um, Learning patience, maturity, realizing that everything that glitter ain't gold, and knowing that you are on this world for a reason. Everybody got a purpose, um, and learning to find what my purpose is.
What are some of the things that gave you the ambition to even go into trucking, period? How did you formulate that to be something that you wanted to go into?
Honestly, I've always had a fascination with big trucks. Even when I was, younger, I always the fire trucks with the sirens, the ambulances, the big yellow Tonka trucks. I've always been in the vehicles. Um, but when I was around 12, 13, I was fascinated with the whole 18-wheeler thing. And I told my mom, like, I want to drive trucks. I want to be a truck driver. Um, you know, I didn't always think that that was my path. But I have friends who got their CDL first. And I kind of just seen the whole, the not only just the transformation that they made, but something that I could do that put my brain to use the way I want to use it. Being a problem solver, being a thinker, something that fits my own niche. Um, so that's how that came about.
My next question is personally, how do you feel about the state of your community? Like as far as Philadelphia, how do you feel about the state of the community of Philadelphia?
I feel as though the community it need help. I feel as though it needs some leadership, and not leadership from politics or higher ups, but people within the community who lived here, who've been a part of the struggle, who understand the people in the community. You understand what I'm saying? The politics they're in it to oversee, but the true help has to come from within the community. Someone who can understand the struggles, who can relate to the young kids who've grown up single parents and going through them same struggles that everybody else is going through. That can say it's not over, you know, and put that work in to rebuild the community.
Are you involved in any community work?
Um, Not as much as I would like to be. I'll be very honest with you. I do what I can. as far as community outreach. I, whether it's giving a homeless some clothes or some spare ones that I have in my pocket. I can tell you personally, I would like to be more involved with my own community. Um, as far as where I grew up at, you see these people that come in and they gentrifying the community and they kind of just kicking everybody to the side. Nobody's really going back in the community to pull the rest of the community up with them.
So I need to know some people in your life that shaped you to be as resilient as you are and as intelligent as you are. Give me some people that did that.
Um, Select few. Really, it all started with Mom Dukes. You feel me? Mom Dukes was um, she was the one. Like a lot of when you grew up in a single parent household, um, there's a lot of sticklers and narratives that people place on you. You feel what I'm saying? And my mom was always the encouragement to never confine yourself to one thing. Like always think outside the box. Always know that you can be greater than what you are. And her biggest message to me was, "You're greater than the worst thing you've ever done." So my mom played a big role. Um, my brother, my sister, my siblings. My dad, when he was in his right mind, he had some good words for me. But it really all stemmed down from Mom Dukes.
And how did you overcome the adversities that came about you as far as while you was in truck school, as far as catching criminal charges and being in danger of being in prison? Like how did you overcome those adversities?
Um, to be honest, prayer, being grounded and having faith. When you're going through any adversity, whether it's you trying to accomplish something and you feel like things is not going your way for it to happen, you tend to lose faith. You tend to go, this ain't for me. I don't want to do this. Um, and I'm not. I wasn't. I was raised in a Christian home, but it took for me to get to my older years to realize that sometimes you can't stress what you can't control, and
Yeah.
sometimes you really just gotta let go and let God. You know what I'm saying? As far as just my criminal things that I was dealing with at the time, and not having a job, losing my car, things like that, I had to pray and just have faith that everything was going to be okay and that the mission was going, be accomplished.
So I want to tell y'all a story about when I met him. So basically, I was in truck school. He was a classmate of mine back in All-State Career School. And at first, first of all, I thought I was looking at an older man, way past 30 at least. And then on top of that, it was just a character that I just didn't feel like I wanted to try to blend and talk to and deal with, not even knowing who I was around. And as time went past, we built a relationship, and he extended help to me when it didn't have no benefit for him. Like helped me, drove me to the train, bought me lunch a few times, just stuff that he didn't have to do, that he did just to help me, motivate me. And when I was ready to quit, he pushed me in, pushed me, kept me going, motivated me. Drove me in the cold when I had to get to the train, helped me study for tests coming up. Everything he could do in his power when he was around me, he did it to motivate me to get my CDL, and I got it now. And I can attribute to him and people like him that came along that really helped me to get past all of the adversities that was faced against me. So the next question is, what do you feel like your path and direction is going to benefit the world? Like, what is it going to do for the world? What you're doing? What do you think that it's going to do for the world? What kind of markets are going to lead?
Um, I can't give you a direct answer. I can tell you that whatever my mark is,
What's your intention?
that is positive.
Positive.
That somebody can look at my story and say, when all odds was against him and you know, everything looked like it was down and out, he persevered. He made it through. And to give the ones coming up under us and even, older people hope. You understand? Like, it ain't over till it's over. And if you put the work in, you're gonna get to where you want to be at. So
And what makes you feel like you'll stay committed to that, to what you're saying you stand on right now? What gives you the confidence that you're going to stay committed to what you're saying you stand on right now, 5, 10 years from now?
knowing that this is a part of my legacy, knowing that and to be very transparent with you, it's really not about me. How I look at it is when I leave, I want my children to be proud of who their father was. I want my children to. My dad did that. My dad was the one who got this rocking and rolling. Whether I'm here to see it or not, I understand that the legacy you leave is what you'll be remembered by. So as much as the negative that has come by my way, I want people to remember the positive that he persevered. He gave hope. He did what he said he was going to do. He stayed committed to the mission, and he's seen the mission through.
So, as far as I know, you have a plan on being the top transportation logistic company on the East Coast. Can you explain a little bit of that?
Um, my goal right now is to, within the next 10 years, be the, if not the biggest, one of the top five transportation and logistics company on the Eastern region.
And how do you plan on accomplishing, achieving that goal realistically?
Um, it's not an overnight process. It's day by day. You got to put the work in. Um, it ain't easy, but nothing worth having comes easy. And I realized that through maturity coming up. Um, so I've come to realize that now it's not about necessarily what I can do at the time, but the knowledge that I have. So as long as I'm opening myself to keep learning, keep dedicating to my craft, because there's someone who's, as me being 25, there's somebody who's 50, 60 that's been driving trucks before I was even in diapers. So networking, building my network, building the people who I'm around, soaking up as much game as I can to put it into my own plan to say, okay, he made that mistake. I won't make it because he told me about that. So now when I see it coming, okay, boom, let me avoid that and stay focused on what I got going on. Knowing that there's a goal to be achieved, and quite frankly, I'm behind the eight ball because when you look on the highway, you got these major companies, the JB Hunts, the Schneiders, the Eastern Transport. You got all that, and they got 20, 30 years on the game. I'm behind the eight ball, but that is what keeps me striving to say I'm gonna get there. Because as I'm playing catch up, I'm gonna be a contender.
So, me personally, I'm tapping into the child care system and the mental health field right now,
Hmm.
as far as the uh, DHS system and replacing a lot of the system that's not working for our people. What is your take on that perspective?
As far as
As far as how DHS is handling our people, and what do you think needs to be done about it?
um, well, let's call it a speed to speed. DHS is a government program, and the government, like we just talked about earlier, is they're slowly but surely fade out because now these people are not relying on the government. They know that they got something in the community that they can go to and get that help from.
Okay. Okay. So my next question was on the long term goals. I need a long term goal from 5, 10, 50, and 100. What are long term goals? Years, 5 years, 10 years. 50 years and 100 years. What are your goals for each of those increments?
I'm gonna work my way down. 100 years, I hope that my company is still striving and succeeding. Um, hope that one day I could eventually pass it down to my son and he run it and so forth and enjoy the fruits of my hard labor. 50 years retirement. Watching my kids do what they want to do. Enjoying my grandkids, living comfortably. Um, 15 years from now.
No, that was 10 was the next increment.
10 years from now, multi-million-dollar CEO, serial entrepreneur. I want to have my hands in a little bit of everything, real estate, commercial, things like that. Um, I can't even give you a fire goal, only because I'm working. So in the next 5 years, I'm hoping that I'm still putting the work in, and I'm enjoying the work I'm putting in, knowing that it ain't gonna happen in 5 years what I'm trying to achieve, but if I can see the progress from the work I'm putting in, I'm okay with that.
That's heavy. It's 2025. Whew. That's heavy.
Listen, because you got to understand, a lot of people they wanted to come overnight, and I think um, when you genuinely put that work in and you start to love what you're doing, you enjoy the process. A lot of people they don't enjoy the journey; they want to enjoy the outcome. And my whole thing is I want to enjoy the journey and the path that I'm going down
Sure.
because I know what I'm trying to achieve. So if I can enjoy the journey, take from it, learn from it, and possibly pass it down to not only my kids but the community that I'm in to say, look, this is what I've learned. This is the game I can give you. Nobody's perfect, but you can always strive for perfection.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
So I need to know some of the tools that even gave you that kind of thinking process. Like, what's some of your upbringings, and who was the people that you were around coming up that taught you those ground rules and principles that you operating off of? Besides your mother, you said your mother already. How did you learn how to be this kind of person this early in life? Besides your parents, what's some of the things that shaped you as a youth?
Myself, learning from my mistakes. You know, when you're younger, you often um, surround yourself with the peers of you know who you think you should be around.
Mm-hmm.
And with growth comes maturity.
Alright, Instagram Live just cut off.
Right.
This is still going.
With growth comes maturity. Um, Realizing that everybody can't come where you going.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Bloody
ain't
Clippers.
everybody ain't everybody ain't built to be around you when you get to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And in street terminology, they tell you, don't be around snakes. Even snakes shed skin to grow into who they are. You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta, when you say shed skin, you gotta. I can't be around them if they ain't focused on what I'm focused on. If this ain't somebody who trying to accomplish what I'm accomplishing, I can't be around them. Not to say I can't love you from a distance, because I can have all the love in the world for you. Listen, I love what you're doing. God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best. But where I'm headed, we ain't there. So I genuinely I have a friend group. Two of my best homies. When I got my first job at McDonald's, we still cool to this day. They my guys, man. Genuinely being around them two shows me, when I'm around them, I'm comfortable. We got the same goals of wanting to be legit millionaires, not no BS, no crazy stuff. We really want to get this money. We want to stay out the way. We trying to accomplish what we trying to accomplish. And I think not, and this is not to say I don't love my street homies because I do. They my folks, but you got to know who to be around, who to be around. Just like when you was younger, I'm sure you had a grandparent or mom who tell you it's a certain time and place for everything. So just learning who to be around, who the certain people you want to be around, and things of that nature.
So got you here where you at.
Yeah.
Basically.
My son um, was a big inspiration. Um, you know, when you living for you, it's a little different because you're not really worried about nobody else. Um, when you have children or even in general just family members that you're living for, you start to kind of realize, okay, I'm not just living for me. I'm living for someone else. As a parent, you got to come home and look at this child in your eyes. This is your offspring. And as you get older, you start to realize what do I want to be remembered by? What do I want my children to remember me by? Um, and that becomes motivation and inspiration.
Yeah, I got four.
I'm only on one. But kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. I'm sure I'll have four one day. Right now, I'm just rocking with my one though. Making sure my young get cool. Um, when you look at your children, how my mother instilled it in me was you always want your children to be better than what you were. But I feel like you can't expect that if you don't give them nothing to look forward to. You feel what I'm saying? So you can always say, I want. I can tell my son I want you to be a better father to your kids than I was to you. Yeah. But if I don't show him what the standard of a good father is, then what does he look up to even say this is the you feel what I'm saying? So setting the bar, setting the standard. I was raised by a lot of women, so um, I think that plays a role into how I move too with the finesse. Um, my mother was in college when she was pregnant with me, and just hearing her story of she couldn't complete what she wanted to complete because she was pregnant with me, and just how everything went. Um, she's in school now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in school now. Trying to finish what she started, and you know, at that age or where she's at, it's never too late.
How old is she?
She's 50.
My mother has a master too.
Yeah, so mom Deuce is going to. She's going to get. She's actually in school to become a mortician, and then she's in school to get her associates, and I believe whatever she started when I was being born.
So what's the next level of your aspirations? What's the next level of what you want to do?
The next level of my inspiration. Wow, it's deep. Um, I would have to say the next level of my inspiration to be that staying focused on what I'm trying to do, but giving back because I can truly tell you there are some people who took their time with me, knowing like this young dude got potential. He gonna be somebody, but it ain't an overnight process. We gonna have to put this work in with him. And just knowing that I got some things I can give back and be beneficial with. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't the smartest apple in the bunch, but I know a little something. You know what I mean? And I know I got a purpose. You know, motivate who I can, inspire who I can. Um, the understanding of I'm still trying to be the best person I can be every day. When I wake up, I realize that um, everybody ain't perfect, but you can, like I said, you can always strive for perfection. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know, inspiring others, giving back in any way that I can. You know, even just with our friendship, if I'm not able to do something physically or financially, I'm always a phone call away if somebody needs some words of advice, some words of encouragement, some wisdom, whatever it can be that I can provide. I look to,
And if somebody out there want to connect with you and try to network with you, where can they find you and how do they get with you?
So you can follow the business page on Instagram at Blue Horizon Logistics LLC. Um, I'm not really on my personal social media like that. Like I said, I'm in the process of building a brand. So when you building something, sometimes your personal has to take a back seat. So Blue Horizon Logistics LLC on Instagram. Um, you know, and that's kind of that's where I'm mainly at. That's the main platform where I'm at. So
Appreciate this. Like this is my first guest. He came through. A lot of people reached out to me to work with me, but he's the first one that got to me and did the first live interview with me. Tony Levi, Tony on time, Tony online. Like, I appreciate it. This means a lot to me. And this is really what I want to do. I want to use people that I got love for, that I know, to inspire other people, to give us some motivation and to network together so we all can come together on one mission.
Mhm.
Just making it better for the next generation, for our children. That's the mission right there. So tap in with me. YouTube, Tony Lee 267. Instagram, Tony Lee. Tell me where you at one more time.
You can follow me on Instagram at Blue Horizon Logistics LLC. Um, if if you need any words of encouragement or you want some advice on how to get in the trucking game, how I went to school, DM me. I do answer DMs. Get up with me, and if I can give you anything, whether it's some games, some advice, what school I went to, how to do what, answers, whatever I can give you, I'm gonna give it to you. So that's where I'm at. Blue Horizon Logistics LLC.
Thank you, bro.